All right, so we're here with Jimond Ivey right now, Akron Zip guard, talking about the season coming up, just going over just everything in his career so far up until this point. So let's start off, let's talk a little bit about your past, and what was your biggest transition coming from Glenville, coming out of high school to the University of Akron?
I think the biggest transition probably was the everyday grind. In Glenville, it wasn't every day. It was just some days I have off. Some days I was able to just do what I want to do, work out if I wanted to. And some days I have practice, have a game or whatever. When I first came to school, it was every day. Every day we had to lift. Every day we had to work out. Every day we had to practice. Every day we had class. It was just an everyday thing. I think for me that was the biggest transition from Glenville to the University of Akron.
So now coming into Akron, you start off and you played a little over 8 minutes per game in your first season, and now this past season, you, like you said earlier, you made it to the starting lineup towards the end of the season and averaged a little over 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. How did you earn that trust from the beginning to now until this point?
I think my first year, coach was trying to trust me. I was trying to earn that trust, but injuries happened. Messed up my right knee. I was out for some weeks. Then my wrist, I had sprained ligaments in like 2-3 parts of my wrist. So my playing time kind of went down, and plus Jake and Reggie was playing unbelievable. So it all made sense. So it was kind of hard my first year for me to earn that trust. But the second year, I was healthy. I was working harder than I ever did, and I earned a spot. And coach he knew that with me on the court, we just had an advantage in a lot of ways, and I earned his trust by game time situations. I just played my role. I just did what he asked me to do, and I just made plays.
So one big part of the past, I believe, around 5 years that have been a huge part, it was Dambrot. So throughout his time with Akron and throughout your time with him, how was your relationship, and how did you react when you found out that he was leaving?
Me and Coach D our relationship. That's my dude. We had a rocky relationship at first. I'm hard-headed. He's stubborn. It's just we always bumped heads, but he always showed me that he cared. So we wasn't just bumping heads off little things. It was mostly on the court about stuff that we just get into it with a little stuff. But I thank him for everything he did for me, because it was for him, Coach Rick and him, I wouldn't be here. But when I first found out he left, I was actually in Florida with E-Man, Craig, and EP. And we got a phone call from Coach Rick, and it was kind of crazy because the day before I was hearing rumors. We was hearing rumors, but we was like, there's no way he was leaving. Yeah. He told us so much about how he wanted to be here and about him not wanting to leave. So that kind of stung. I was kind of bitter about it, but as it went on, he had to do what he had to do for his family, and so did the other coaches. They ain't had no choice. So couldn't really be mad at him at the end of the day. But when it first happened, I had a bitter taste in my mouth, because he promised, to be here for 4 years with me and the guys that stayed. So
now transitioning from that, after he left, what made you want to stay? Because I know a lot of players did end up leaving. Mm-hmm. What made you want to stay here at Akron?
It was three reasons. Well, it was probably more than that, but the 3 reasons. One was I'm a very loyal person. This community, this university, this place, the fans. All the doctors I go see when I was injured, all the eye doctor I go see, when to check on my eyes. Just everybody, they love me here, and they made me feel like this is a family. So I didn't want to just, everybody was leaving, coach was leaving. I didn't want to, this place gave me a chance, and they believed in me. I didn't want to just leave them out in the dry. Second, I just felt like we've been to the MAC championship twice, and we lost. I want to win that. Yeah. That's my goal. I didn't want to back down from that challenge. I want to get that. And that was one of the biggest things. I didn't want to run away from it. I didn't want to run away from that. And 3, my guys, me, Craig, Dan, and E-Man, and EP, we all sat down when we was in Florida. Dan was actually in Houston. I made a call to him. We was talking, and we all decided to do this together. We wanted to stay together. We wanted to, do something that's unthinkable to people, that's unachievable to people. And I feel like it's a big challenge. It's going to be a big challenge. There's going to be a lot of doubts, a lot of hard times, but we sat down together and we wanted to do this together as brothers, as guys. Them guys was family to me, all of them. So yeah. I think that was a big reason. we want to do this together.
Now you figure out Groce is your head coach, John Groce. How did you initially react when you found out he was a coach, and kind of where are you guys at now?
When I first found out Coach Groce was going to be the head coach of the University of Akron, initially I didn't know the name. I looked him up. I seen a picture of him like yelling at his players, so I was kind of like, oh man, he about to be hard. He's about to be, you know. But I talked to my high school coach, Coach Bo, and he told me about Coach Groce, and Coach Groce actually knows Ted Ginn. They got a close relationship.
Oh really?
Yeah, because when Ted was at O State Junior, Coach Groce was at O State as an assistant, and him and Ted Senior got very close. They still close to this day. And they told me what type of guy he is. I had some players that played for him that told me what type of coach he is, type of guy he is. And then I just wanted to sit down and meet with him to see what was his views for us as players, as a team. What he wanted for the season. So we sat down, we talked, and we had the same plan. We had the same goals. So that's when I knew, like, this is gonna be something special.
So coming into the season now, I know you guys have a lot of new players, and you're one of the returning players. How do you feel your leadership role is going to kind of change coming from these past couple years to being kind of that guy now?
Well, when I first found out most of the guys was leaving, I already knew like it was going to be my role to be the leader. So I knew it, but I talked to Coach Groce. He came to me. He said he wanted me to be the leader of this team. He believed in me that I could be a leader. He said he's going to help me every step of the way to be the leader that this team needs. And I just think it's going to be a good challenge for me to see if I can, you know, be the leader that I always know I can be. I always knew I can be. And we're just going to see how I go. And after this year, we can see if I can do it again next year.